Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm with Justin, getting a deck profile. Something pretty original. What deck is it?
It's it's called Chain Beat.
Alright, cool. Let's hop right into this.
Alright, so the concept of this deck is based around this card right here, Wind Up Rabbit. Now, I found out in playing windups that one of my favorite ways to win has been just to basically play Protect the Rabbit. Get the rabbit out, bounce it back and forth, beat them down, and keep their monsters off the field with traps. So this entire deck is basically built around that principle. Ideally, later on when Evil Storm Thunderbird comes out, it'll be running that as well because that functions similarly, where if a card effect activates, you banish it and it comes back during the next standby phase with 300 more attack. 1950 beat stick, pretty big. But in the meantime, the alternative is this guy, Winged Rhinos. He, when a trap card activates, I can return him to my hand.
Let's go!
Damn. So, functionally, he does pretty much the same thing as Rabbit. The entire purpose of this deck is to make almost every single major spell and trap card pretty much worthless because it doesn't do anything. They activate it, I chain, I run away, I come back, and perpetual floaters beating your face in. The other monsters are basically just 2 tour guides, which its only purpose is to get the Zen Mighty to go into the rabbit, and then 2 card cards for draw power. This is one deck. Generally, card it trades tempo for card advantage, but with this deck, because you have the perpetual floaters, your card advantage, you're not really losing any tempo. So I can afford to wait a few turns, especially with card. And that is it for the monsters. Just 9. The spells, really small, just 1 Dark Hole, 1 Monster Born, 1 Book of Moon, 2 Dualities, and the Seal of Orichalcos. Now, okay, so the seal is just, honestly, I kind of found it funny. That's the main reason why I ran it. Future builds probably won't have it, but generally speaking, it makes my rabbits a 19 beat stick, my rhinos a 2300 beat stick, and in the future it would make Evil Storm Thunderbird a 2450 beat stick. And furthermore, if I can get 2 floating rabbits out, because of the way that the seal functions, since they can't attack, they can only attack the highest attack monster on the field, and they're both the same attack, they can't attack either one. I've actually had games where I've stalled them out, almost decking themselves out, with just having 2 rabbits in the seal, doing pretty much nothing. Now, I don't have main deck MST, mainly because the purpose of MST is to take care of back row, but the function of this deck, rabbit run away, is to make those back row worthless. The only back row that are main back row that are a significant threat, that are commonly played, are so the Solemn Brigade, basically. The Solemn Brigade is the scariest thing for this deck because we can't run away from that. There are some other things like Skill Drain and other minor cards, but those aren't as frequent in most top meta decks, so, except for Mermaid Atlantean, whatever. But I don't feel that it's necessary in the main deck to have the MSTs, especially since I need room for what this deck does later. Now, the main crux of the deck is this. All the traps, woo! I think it's like 25 traps right now. And to start, the biggest and most important traps in the deck are these guys. 3 compulsory escape device and 3 compulsory evacuation device. The whole purpose of this deck is just to keep monsters off my opponent's field. If I can keep my opponent's field clear, beat with the rabbit, beat with the rhino, keep it going. Now, with this guy, when you activate this, both players choose 1 card they control and return it to the deck. Now, what I can do with this is I can activate this card and then have a rabbit or a rhino in the field, and then chain the rhino or rabbit, have it run away, my opponent's monster returns to the deck, and then I can just bring the rabbit or the rhino back out again next turn. Keeping their cards off the field helps a lot with the advantage. Compulse is a smaller version of this one, but it also helps a lot, and you know, with Exceed heavy as the game is right now, it's really useful. Most of the rest of the traps are standard good stuffs. We have, you know, the 2 Bombless, 2 Deep Prison, 2 Mirror Force, 2 Torrential Tribute, stuff like that. What we also have in the main is 2 Macrocosmos. Now, this card, of course, it hurts a lot of the decks in the main meta right now. We have the Mermaid Atlantean, Dark World, etc. And every deck This card doesn't hurt this deck at all, so it's not a problem for me to run it. I don't care about my graveyard, but if I can screw over my opponent game 1, make it easier turn 1, that's fine. And the rest, then we have these, the Chainburn Draw Engine, 2 Accumulate, 2 Yada, and 1 Jar of Greed. This is here because it's really, really damn easy to manipulate chain links with these 2 guys. Basically, if I have these guys out, and one of these, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 chain link, easy 3 draws. I've baited out heavy storms with this, MSTs, makes it really easy to just get those draws going, and that helps maintain your advantage. And then we have just the last sort of one-offs. We have Solemn Judgment, 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Needle Sealing, and then 1 Starlight Road.
What was your influence behind some of these one-offs?
Basically, I kind of want to run 2 of this, but because the purpose of the deck is, of course, the running away bit, I do take direct attacks quite often, so that 2,000 life point cost is significant. So I want it. The only reason I only have it at 1 is A, it's too good not to run, but B, 2 would just could potentially drain my life points too much and make it too easy for them to just push me for once per game. The Starlight Road, with all these traps, having that protection is wonderful. And as far as the Needle Sealing, this is just a fun tech, because with this guy out, if I have, let's say, we got this, all that happens, that's already 2 monsters. So if they have 2 monsters, I can just go Needle Sealing, Chain, and boom, their push is destroyed, and I'm all good. It's especially funny if I go up against like windups and they do the first turn Shock Lock and I have this, because they don't. Who would expect this not being in the main, right? But that hasn't happened yet. But I always thought it'd be funny if it did. All right, side deck. Now the side deck has exactly 1 purpose: transformation side into windups. Since I already have, we have just 3 sharks, 3 magicians, 2 rats. Since I run macro, 3 factories, and then MST and heavy. This is, I already run the rabbits, I already run all the traps, I have exactly enough of the chain beat engine to side out to bring in all the windups I need, and it functions exactly the same as a standard windup deck would do. Now, if you're playing against people who are thinking about their side, what would you generally side against a deck like this? You wouldn't bring in your Veiler, because Veiler is pretty much useless. You wouldn't bring in your Maxi, because I don't special summon. You wouldn't bring in the heavy monster removal, because my monsters continually disappear. So all of the good side cards that are for windups are shit against the main. So the idea is, if I can call them on their side, I can bring them in and hurt them hard without them having an answer to my windups, and vice versa. Anything that's good against this deck, with exception to a couple of cards, because I saw one really strong card against both decks, which was Tiger King Wang Hu. Other than Tiger King Wang Hu and Skill Drain, pretty much anything that's good against this deck is bad against this deck.
Right. So I guess it's run to the extra.
The extra is pretty much standard wind-up stuff. I don't have it organized, but who really cares, because we've got, the rank 3s, the Zen Mighty, because that always, it's the most used one in the deck one way or another. More rank 3s, blah, 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 standard wind-up. Not so standard wind-up, but funny, I like him. And also I can hit him with the Rhinos if I need to for 1 extra push. More rank 4s, rank 4s, wind-up stuff. And then rank 5s, and the 1 Stardust Dragon for Starlight Road.
So this is actually a really original deck. Like, what was your inspiration for making it?
I think I said something at the start about how I really liked, my favorite way to win with windups was to just beat them down with Rabbit. And then I started looking into it. I started trying to build different kind of versions of the deck on DN. At first I started with like Madolche Magellin, just kind of a floater beat sort of thing, inspired by that 1 floater beat. It was first inspired by that 1 floater beat that had, I forget which YCS it was. Whatever. If you're watching this video, chances are you already know what I'm talking about. If you don't, oh well. Either way, I also looked up some OCG, and I saw an OCG build that had some interesting things as far as chain beat was concerned. And then I just kind of picked up different ideas. There was somebody down at the local, back home there's another local that I've gone to where someone else had a similar deck, and they ran the accumulateds. So yeah, then I decided to try the accumulateds out, and everything is culminated in this. The next build of this deck, I'm actually going to try the Fire Fist, because 10 key searches every key monster, and Bear gives me extra monster pops that I may not you know, have as easy access to it.
Alright, well, thanks. I appreciate the profile. Deck's really original. So, remember, guys, if you liked it, thumbs up and subscribe. One of those buttons on there. And, bye, guys.